start introducing and welcoming everyone to the program as people log in, because we have only till 3 o'clock, and I think we're going to need every minute of it. So welcome everybody. My name is Maria Evans. I'm the Artistic Director for the Arts Council of Princeton. And today's program is the Harlem Renaissance and the Art of Collage. This is made possible not only by the Arts Council, but the Princeton University's Humanities Council. We thank them so much for underwriting programs such as this, which keeps them free for our community. And I think we are in for a real treat today. Before we begin, I just want to mention a few upcoming programs at the Arts Council. On March 16th, we've got the Art of the Perfect Cup, which will feature how to make a perfect cup of coffee with Small World Coffee, which is a beloved coffee cafe here in Princeton. And our director, Adam Welch, made coffee mugs that go along with a bag of coffee and the programming. So log on to our website, artscouncilofprinceton.org, and you can find out how to buy tickets for that. We also have spring classes coming up and summer camp. And this coming week will be the last week in our Taplin Gallery to catch Museums in Motion. And you should really stop by and see that. It has been a very wonderful exhibition, and its last day is March 6th. So be sure to catch that. I want to give a shout out today to a very special group of guests that we have today. They are the Pulse group from Princeton High School, and they are a group that has been around since 1994, and they were founded by one of my favorite people in Princeton, Miss Shirley Satterfield. So I want to thank Lenora Keel for organizing them and bringing them to our program today. So welcome, Pulse Group. We're thrilled to have you. Well, I want us to get to some art making because it's a very soggy day here in Princeton, and what better thing to do today than make some art. And I am so happy to have Kenneth Lewis Sr. with us today. Kenneth is an artist, an illustrator, a publisher, a gallery owner. He's a mentor, he's a father. You won't believe this, but he's a grandfather. He is such a creative individual. He's open, he's fearless, and he is a real true lover of life. And I had the pleasure of working with Kenneth early in 2020 before all of our worlds were turned upside down in an exhibition that was curated by Ruth Ann Traylor titled Inside Out When Worlds Collide. And it's my pleasure to bring Kenneth to the program today. And I'm going to turn it over to him, and I'm going to step out of here. I just want to say, if you have questions, put them into the chat, and as we go along, I will ask the questions of Kenneth while he's working. So here he is. I will get out of here. Thank you, Kenneth. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, how you doing? Hey, thank you all for joining us here today. This is such a pleasure to do this. I love the Arts Council, Maria, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. I'm trying to adjust my screen here for a second. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my screen to go full blast, but for some reason it's not. Hold on. I don't know what I'm doing here. But anyway, I can't see anyone in the room right now. Hold on. Here we go. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about Romare Bearden. Romare Bearden was born September 2nd, 1911, and he was born in Charlotte, North Carolina. His family moved to New York later, and he grew up at the start of, he was like a teen at the start of the beginning of the Harlem Renaissance. And his parents were, Richard and Bessie. His mother actually was a editor for a magazine, a Negro magazine during her time. And she eventually became a publisher. And so she had all these influential people from the Harlem Renaissance era that would come to her house. So he was immersed in the richness of arts and culture and literature during the Harlem Renaissance as a teen. And he met all of these great people that figures from the Harlem Renaissance era. So he had a very rich upbringing. His parents were middle class. One thing about Romare Bearden, he was very light skinned and he almost looked as if he was white. So a lot of people thought he was white. What happened was he was a good baseball player too. And he played in the Negro leagues, but he got an offer to play in the National League for the Philadelphia Pirates, I think they were called. But during that time, the league was segregated. So one of the conditions that they set on him was that and he was a pitcher. One of the conditions they put on him was that he had to denounce that he was a Negro and that he was white, and say that he was white to play in the National League. And he turned it down. And part of the reason he did that was because of his upbringing within the Harlem Renaissance era. And he had been around so many strong African-American people that it built this pride in him. And he turned down an offer to play in the National Baseball League. But anyway, in the major leagues. He was in World War II from 1944 to 1945. He was in the 377th Infantry during that time period. But after that situation with the baseball, he decided that he was going to really throw himself into his art. And during the 60s, he's well known for his collage, although he's done other forms of artwork. But his collage, what we're going to do today, is one of the things that he's most well known for. Tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Kenneth Lewis Sr. I'm 60 years old right now. I started painting at the age of 47. I've been painting about 13 years now, and I've done close to 2,000 paintings. I have painted all over my house, everywhere. And I just kept doing it. I became very prolific. I have a 37-year-old son and a 33-year-old daughter, and I have a 9-year-old grandson. And but anyway, so I started painting at the age of 47. I'm going to send a link to my website right here in the thing, and you can copy it down if you want to. But where you can read my full bio there. But I want us to get to the painting. I don't want to talk too much about myself. This right here is some of the things that we do at my gallery. We have paint parties, space rental, exhibitions. My first exhibition is going to be May 1st. Because of COVID, I wasn't able to do anything. I moved into this studio a year ago. But now I'm going to have my first exhibition May 1st of my own artwork. And it's called the Harlem Renaissance exhibition. And so those are some of the things we do. This is an advertisement on my sweatshirt for my Harlem Renaissance exhibition. Besides having just the Harlem Renaissance, we've also done a poetry book. This is called Soulful Expressions, and it has some of the black and white images from my Harlem Renaissance series. There's 146 paintings in this series. So this is one of the poems, one of the pictures in the book here. Well, that's the bio right there. Show you a couple of pages in here. And there's a notebook as well, which has, lined paper, but at the end of the notebook, it has 20 images from my Harlem Renaissance series in the back. And this is the back of the book. But we also have one more book I'm going to show you. It's multifaceted. And this one is Multifaceted Aspects of a Woman. And it has some of my artwork along with poet Marlise Hendricks. So you can see here, show you a couple of pages. You can see, and that's multifaceted. So I'll send the links for that. Also, I do free children's events. But for the last 3 years, I've done about 40 free children's events. I've done Starbucks, Village Charter School, Parker School, Cadwallader Park, Trenton Y, Hamilton Y. I do them all over. They're free. We supply the canvas, the paint, the brushes at all of our outside events. Now we'll have some of those free children's events here at my space. The last 3 years, I've done it myself. I did start a GoFundMe to help with supplies for my free children's events. I'd like to do 40 this year, pick various organizations, schools, and locations to do these free events as well as here. But anyway, let's get to the artwork. Everybody, I'm not sure what surface you have. If anybody has a question, feel free, to type it in. So this is the background that I'm starting with right here. And I prepped mine because of the amount of time I would have to wait for this to dry, and we don't have that much time. So if you want to paint on your background and you got like a blow dryer or something, you can dry it pretty quick, go ahead. But you don't necessarily have to start with a black background like this. I'm doing the Harlem Renaissance series of paintings, like I said. So I'm actually going to add this collage piece to the series that I'm doing as a collage piece. So the first thing you want to do is you want to figure out your composition. So let me tell you what I decided my composition was going to be. This is what you need to start thinking about right now if you're at the beginning stages. What is my composition? That's going to be essentially the layout. So right here, I said I was going to do like more of a bursting of scenes through 3 different parts of the Harlem Renaissance. So right here, I'm going to put representation of the migration. Right here, I'm going to put representation of the nightlife during the Harlem Renaissance. And then right here, I'm going to put images of the children of the Harlem Renaissance. So decide your composition. The children of the Harlem Renaissance, the nightlife, the migration. So what I'm going to do, so the next step you want to take is, for example, I've already pre-cut some pieces of stuff, all my stuff, because again, I wouldn't have enough time if I had to do everything. So my composition is done. The pieces are cut. Everything's laid out. I'm just transferring from there to here. But you see how I cut this piece out right here. All I went through a bunch of magazines and then pictures actually on the computer that I printed, all black and white, because my whole thing is going to be black, white, gray. So I had a bunch of black and white pictures. And what I start doing is just start cutting pieces of people off in all of these different pictures. And then, let me just put these back over here real quick. So I start cutting up and just essentially cutting people apart, buildings and things. Then I got some construction paper because there's some background elements that I want to put in that I can cut the shapes that I want. And you'll see some of that as well. So you want to figure your composition out, start cutting out your pieces. Arms, legs, hands, buildings, cars, chairs, whatever. Start cutting it out. And then it's like if you had a picture and you cut it up into pieces and took them apart, that's a puzzle. They cut out all the different shapes and now it's a puzzle. What you're going to do is you're going to make the puzzle pieces first and then create the puzzle. So you're not going to have a picture that you cut up and take the pieces. You're going to start with the pieces and make the puzzle. And I'm going to show you how. And as I start putting my pieces that I cut out and assembled on here as a puzzle. So let me get started. one of the first things you want to do when you start to put everything on there is be mindful of putting everything in the background first. Don't put something down that has to be layered on top of something else. Because we're going to use, I'm using a glue stick, essentially. And what I'm going to do is take the glue stick. I'm not sure if you can see me right here. Glue stick, and I'm going to put a good amount of the glue on here, and I'm going to make sure I got it to the spot that I want. So you got to be very clear of what you want as you're going on there, as you're putting the things on there. You got to move with intention. Now, I know that's easy for the kids. I know that is easy for the kids because they're going to go with the flow. They're going to cut their stuff. They're going to start creating. They're not going to have any problem. It's the adults I'm concerned about because the adults get so uptight. I'm messing with you adults. But yes, you guys loosen up, okay, adults? This is supposed to be fun. Don't beat yourself up about it, all right? So I'm going to get started. I'm putting my furthest pieces away from me on first. So it may be boom, 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 all over the place, but you'll start to see the picture in a second. So I'm getting started over here. I'm going to start in my corner. Where I have the see? Okay. Got my first piece up. Started with the migration section. Okay. All right, so I already know, looks like I'm putting these legs on here. Make sure you get, if you're using a glue stick, make sure you get a good amount on there. Some people like to use the hodgepodge. If I was outside, I would use like the spray adhesive if I was outside. There we go, right here. See, we're coming together. There we go. There we go. We got the migration. We got some people, some Southerners with their bags packed. They're heading north. And I may have to cut her another leg because I think the leg I had cut out for her went south. So, all right, I'm just going to create something for her right here. All right, she's got right here. I don't know. Let me see what I'm going to cut up for her. Hold on, got to get a piece of paper. Good thing is you can just do this stuff on the fly. So I'm going to kind of change her dress at the bottom. Doing this. Let's see if this will work. Yeah, I cut a little bit too big. I'm going to give her a different dress. See? Yep. So I just got a piece of construction paper like a dark gray. Because remember, I'm keeping everything gray. I'm taking this up to her waist here. Boom. She already got a different dress on. Now let me give her. And then I have here, this is like a chalk Sharpie. And I'm just gonna paint her a little leg in here. With this. I'm just gonna fill that in like that. Say she's. So you can actually paint on here too. So I'm putting her a couple of legs right here. That's where they are right there. Boom. Maybe I'll put a couple of lines over here. That they could be at the train station or something like that. Who knows? I don't know why I felt like doing this right here, but I felt like this needed to go in. It's the good thing about art, man. You can put things in wherever you feel like it. So I decided that I'm gonna put this little fence-like kind of looking thing behind them. What the heck? Okay, let's move along. Oh, I'm looking for a piece here. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free. I think when I move this thing, I think I covered up a couple of little pieces I need. You know what? I'll use this. When you're doing this, like I had another train, but I can't find it. So I wanted to put a train up here. So this one's kind of big. So I'm gonna get like a little bit of this train here. I don't want a whole bunch of it on here because it's gonna take up too much space. The other one I had was a lot smaller than this, but I'm gonna put like a little bit of a representation of this train in there.
Kenneth, it's Maria. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I'm getting a question from a viewer if you have any Romare Bearden examples as inspiration.
Yeah, listen, I'm sorry about that. I went to print in my printer and it ran out of ink as I was printing. Remember I told you yesterday I was going to have some of those images. Yeah. I didn't have enough time to run to Staples when I discovered.
Okay,
I started printing it out.
I'll look while you're teaching.
If you could do that for me and send it. I'm sorry everyone about that because that was one of the things that I wanted to do. We'll get it next time.
Yeah, and they can also look up a few images on their own too while they're learning.
Yeah, because I'm going to send a link to the. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a representation of a train here. Maybe right here, or maybe at the other end of this. Who knows? No. So remember, if anybody has any questions, feel free. Has everyone gotten their composition? I want some feedback on that. Has everyone gotten to the point where they've got their composition, or are they still at the point where they're cutting things out? Boom. I like that right there. So now I have to move to my next step. I'm glad I bought like 3 of these glue sticks.
So everybody, one of the viewers, Jackie Anderson, has posted in the chat room a very good website. It's the Bearden Foundation. If you log on to that, yeah, you can see a lot of examples. So thank you for posting that, Jackie. Thank you so much.
Jackie, thank you, Jackie. That's what I'm talking about, Jackie. Teamwork. Teamwork. Isn't this nice? So I got a little Apollo here, and then I took a scene from another place or another picture, just a scene of some people hanging around outside in downtown Harlem. And so I took this Apollo picture, cut that up, and now I'm going to add the what I think is the best part of this whole picture right here, this section right here. I think this is the best part. Boom, look at a car parked out by the street. So everybody on the other side. And you know what the beautiful thing about this? It don't have to be the same size. You people could be like not the right size of proportion to the car. It doesn't matter. And you'll see as I go further how I disfigure the people.
Kenneth, can I ask you a question live?
Sure.
So I've noticed in your latest work that you do a lot of paintings on the grayscale. Are you more into the grayscale, black and white tones right now in your work than you are in color? Or do you switch back and forth?
Yeah, I do them all simultaneously. Right now in the area I am in right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 paintings I'm working on in this room alone. They're all the paintings in here. They're 5 of them are oil and the others are acrylics. And so they go all around this wall. Then the next room next to that, I have art stored in there. But then there's a room next to that where I'm working on the oil paintings, the smaller oil paintings for the Harlem Renaissance series. Those are all colorful. All of the ones in here are colorful. Then in the room after that, because there's 3 like studio spaces to paint in, that's where I'm working on all the black and white pieces. There's 146 pieces, 60 of them are like in this black and white, and I just use a black paintbrush, and I'll show you the brush I use, and it's the only brush I use on those entire paintings. I gotta find this in the water somewhere. I dropped it in here. This brush right here. I painted all of the paintings with this brush. I'll bring one up so you guys to get a little teaser on what they look like. And I only use stroke, 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 stroke. That's it with black paint on all of these paintings. I'm gonna show you one of them. All right, I said I'll show you one, but I'm gonna show you 2. This is Zora Neale Hurston. Can you see? And then I bought one other up to tease you with. This is Langston Hughes. And I just did it like 1 or 2 strokes at a time. And they're all black and white. They're all gonna be in black frames. But there's different sizes and different material that I paint on those as well. And but there's 60 images that are in the black and white, and the rest are the color and oil and acrylic.
Yeah, thanks for sharing those, Kenneth.
Oh, you're welcome. I enjoy it. I enjoy sharing it. Okay, so look, I got this guy's body here, but I put Josephine Baker's head up on him. Look at Josephine. Bam. I'm sorry, when I'm doing stuff like this, this is how I act with the kids when I'm painting, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry, adults, I'm acting the same way I act with the kids. But check this out. Josephine is playing the sax.
So Kenneth, we've had quite a few comments about your work being awesome that you just shared with everybody. So
oh, thank you.
That's great.
I would love for everybody to come to the exhibition. Remember, Harlem Renaissance exhibition, May 2021 at my gallery in Ewing, New Jersey. That's the address. 310.
We will be there.
It's going to be awesome. I have the cutest little one in there of these 3 little girls eating ice cream cone.
Kenneth, we've got a question from from a viewer that asks, do you work from photographs?
On which one? Yeah, I use photographs as inspiration, but I also have when I'm depicting a person I want, then I'll work from a photograph. But a lot of the images that I've created, I only use the photograph for the form because they are really impressionist. Like you can't, like there's no really details in the figure. I just may use it because I like that particular scene, but the people will look nothing like the people in the picture. And you know, those are ones where it's a little bit more busy. There's like buildings and people and movement and fields and just things in there. I'm just so excited. I can't wait to show everybody some of these pieces. So yeah, I work in various forms.
So Kenneth, can you just say the address of your gallery out loud? It's a little hard to read it on our screen.
It's 310 4th Street, Ewing, New Jersey, 08638.
Great, thank you.
Yep. Oh, this is looking nice right here. You see how Josephine? Now you see, it didn't matter that I came over top of this Apollo sign because I want her to stand out in the front. And now I got to do this I got a couple I'm working with over on this side. Whoops. The man is about to lose his pants. There they go right there. He's cool. I took this piece right here from a picture of Joe Lewis walking down the street with his girlfriend. I cut this off of him. I was like, nah, Joe, you got to go into something else. So here we go. So now I got to be very careful where I want to put this because it's critical for this. So I got his jacket going right there. So I know the arm got to come, bam, right there. Want it right there. I hope everybody's having fun doing this and like really letting your imagination run wild. Just be free, let your imagination run. Okay, so look, I got him right here. Wow. See, I created me my own little man here. I guess you
Kenneth, we had a comment from a viewer that said they can't make it to your exhibition because they live in Canada, but they wanna say the best of luck anyway.
Oh, tell them I said thank you. And who knows? I may be exhibiting in Canada one day.
And then also the books you shared with everybody, could we know how to get those?
Yeah, let me see if I could leave I'm gonna exit full screen for a second. I'm gonna see if I can attach my website there into the messaging. Let me see.
Okay.
I'll attach both of them. The publishing website, which has, all of my, images and everything in it.
And we're also happy to post that on our website after the program as well. Mm-hmm. So we will get that information to you.
Okay.
while you're working there, Kenneth, we have a question. Do you usually like to work on the wall for collage, or do you ever try on a tabletop surface?
I do it. It just depends. It depends on. It's hard to tell because I don't really. It's wherever I get inspired at. I may be out at the park doing it. Sometimes I go out to Catwater Park, paint. Sometimes I go and I do different things when I go. I call it KJL Art Sanctuary because I'm telling you, like, when I'm in a certain space when I'm doing this stuff. I really am. I'm in a certain space and it's peaceful. And I can feel the highest part of me while I'm doing this. You know, I can feel the highest part of me, especially when it's quiet. I can. And there's times that I painted. It was like in the evening. It got dark, and I was painting, and then it got light again, and I didn't realize I had been painting all night. And it felt like a few hours, but I had been painting maybe 8 or 9. Yep. All right,
so,
let me see if I can leave this thing in chat.
Okay.
To all parties.
And I just put your, I just typed in the address for your gallery.
Okay, yeah, I was able to put it in the chat. You'll see the link to the website. And I'm gonna see if I can send the other one too.
Great. We also had a question from a viewer that says, do you have any other collages you could share with us at some point in the program?
No.
Okay.
I have some mixed media pieces. I work like, for example, I have one, but it's too big to bring in here, but I did it from my sweatsuit. After I came from the gym and I tore my sweatsuit apart and dipped it in a bunch of paint and I made a face with it. And and so I do all kind of crazy stuff. I found a fence, this old fence. It was really thick. It was made out of like 2x6s, but old. And I restored it and I put a canvas on it and ended up painting a restaurant scene on it. I can't wait to take it to somebody's restaurant and just bring it there and say, hey, would you hang this in there? Or because I'm gonna do that one day. I'm gonna load it up and go to stop at a bunch of restaurants because it would look really cool in a restaurant. So I do all kind of things. But you know what? Doing this, like really like looking at Romare Bearden, like just recently, because of this event, and putting this together myself, I'm gonna have a whole series of collage paintings coming. I'm telling you right now, already my juices are flowing with it. I'm not gonna be able to stop this for a while. So there's gonna be a bunch made really soon. But anyway, let me keep on with this one. I gotta put it back to full screen, hold up. Okay. Okay, so we got this gentleman standing right here. What is he standing there for, and what is he doing? Well, let's see what's going on. Yeah, see what's going on over here. He's like sitting there like that. So we decided he's standing here for some reason. See, this is the background, foreground thing. See, I wanted my legs to be behind this, but because I put that on first, that's one of the casualties that happen with these type of things. But anyway, you don't look at it as a casualty. You look at it as an opportunity. Okay, so this thing thinks it got me because I had to put this over top and now my legs is right there. Thinks it got me. But it doesn't know me.
Hey, Kenneth, we have a question of what kind of glue are you using? Could you share that with the group again?
I'm using Elmer's. It's washable, Elmer's washable school glue. Can you see it? And it's washable, so.
Yeah, like a regular glue stick.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And it goes on purple in the back, so it looks, you can really see it that you hit it. See? So what they didn't realize was that I was gonna make this little design right here. That's why you don't never look at it as, oh, this was a problem. No, it was a straight up opportunity to create another viewpoint of this chair. So I'm taking that and I made a little corner piece, bam. So anyway, so we know that's a chair. I'm not gonna make the same mistake I just made. So let's see this. I hope I'm not blocking while I'm doing this.
No, you're not. We can see pretty well.
Okay, so you see how SpaghettiOs. That's why he's standing right there. He think he gonna talk to somebody. But she looking over her shoulder like, you done lost your mind. And she said, she like saying, I don't know if you want to mess with me, because guess what? She got a big old fist. You see, you don't even have to make, you don't have to make these things proportionate. But that's her hand. Oh, I love it.
So Kenneth, could you talk a little bit about like the background, the middle ground, and the foreground as you start to build this collage?
Okay. Again, I made my background. You see how I painted all this because I knew, look how these pictures look against that dark background there. They look amazing. So you want to look at what's going to be what do you want to be at the farthest point? It's that black. And now, as I start to move forward, this is over top of this is over top of this, which means that when I'm laying my collage out, when I start to transfer it from my layout to the actual whatever I'm working on, I'm going to have to start with the one that's the furthest back of these connected. So I will put the Apollo first, then I will put the people on top, then I will put the car in front. So you're going to cut these people, you're going to play around with all of this stuff. And you can add stuff, like you see I drew this in, and I'm gonna use this throughout because I'm gonna put little marks in here for things that I just want to add to the scene.
Great.
So
thanks.
You could take a paint and use a paintbrush and do it. You could there's a variety. You could use different materials. You could use fabrics. You could use anything. But I wanted to keep mine all black, gray, and white, like the grayscale. So now, look how I'm going to this next section. I'm going to take these boys, right? I have some, this is the furthest piece back on what I'm working with right now. So I'm going to put this next piece on to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to put this next piece on And this will give you an idea. So I'm starting here. I got a building. Boom. I'm starting right here. Now, what's the next thing that's going to be on this, in front of this? It's going to be this young lad right here. So this young lad is right here.
So Kenneth, we have another question from a viewer that is asking, are these Xerox copies of magazine pictures, or are they the actual magazine pictures?
They're pictures that that I just went online and looked up images of the Harlem Renaissance.
And you printed them, okay.
Vintage, and I printed them, yes.
Okay.
Then this young lad is here. So we got these two young lads over here. And he got like half a hat. So I'm just gonna take him up. And I'm gonna give him a full hat. This right here is a Sharpie chalk marker. You gotta shake it up and then you like press it down and you use one of these and then the tip brings it out like real chalky. So I decided to just do that. All right, came out a lot more now. Okay, so now the next thing that's going to be in front of these boys, this is the next things that's in front of these young guys. I'm putting it on this thing in reverse of how I had it. So now that's on there. Then I got, there's a couple of these I got to put on here, so I got to turn them. Okay. So now I'm going to put this here. I'll put some more glue on that one. Probably that one too. Is it? Okay, so I got here, they got this little fence right here, but I'm gonna make I hope everybody's having fun.
So Kenneth, I want to ask, we have a question about if you're putting that, I think you've mentioned this a couple of times, but your background is a painted, is it a painted piece of paper or masonite or cardboard?
It's a heavyweight paper. It's like the thickness of a mat board. And it's tacked to the wall. It's tacked to the wall. I have the edges stapled. So now, this is my next section here. And I have this little house, this street right here. So got these little boys talking to them right over here by this fence here. And I just made up my fence. And they're looking over here. That background is brownstone. So now I'm going to my next grouping of kids. So this is going to be two little girls. So see, the girl had this pocketbook in her dress here, but I cut another girl over top and I'm bringing her over like this. She's got a completely different outfit now. But she's actually was missing an arm. So I put a little arm up here for her too. Boom. This is one I hope I can peel back because, yes. There we go. That's more like it. So she's not standing there by herself. And what I did with this girl right here is from the north. See, there's thought that went into this too. I didn't just do this and just like, I put thought into this. So, north. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Kenneth, I've had a comment that the screen just goes black whenever I ask a question. So I'm just testing this right now and people are gonna let me know if this is better because I turned my video back on. I'm just a tiny little square up in the corner, but hopefully I can fix this problem.
So now I got the
Kenneth, did you mention that these were all images from the Harlem Renaissance? Which
yes, every last one of these images are from the Harlem Renaissance and the Great Migration. I cut up probably, I don't know, 40 pictures to come up with this stuff that I did. But I have a lot of cut up pieces. I can do multiple of these. Which I am. I'm going to do about 10 of these paintings. I think I can get 10 out of what I did, what I cut up. But I'm going to really, really like focus on some really great themes too. Okay, so we got this next thing coming here. Again, I'm starting with the farthest. When I work to this next section, I'm starting with the farthest thing that's going to be on this part right here. I like it. This is washable because it sometimes overlaps onto the picture. So you can just get a little like damp cloth and wipe the glue off of it. That's what I like about this.
Kenneth, we've had a question on whether you will seal this when you're done. Do you put like
Absolutely, I'm gonna seal it. Yep.
You put like a varnish or
put a varnish, a spray varnish. Because this chalkboard paint that I'm doing would like wipe off if I didn't do that for sure. Okay. So now, look, I made me these little stairs here because I got these two young lads sitting down here comparing notes. Bam. Now my most favorite part of this entire thing is this, not this piece I'm putting on. This just goes above those boys there. But this is my favorite pieces right here. These, oh, they're just the cutest. I like the cuteness of this last part that goes on here. It's like super cute when you see it. This is like, need some more glue on here. This is absolutely cool, this piece right here. That's actually Cab Calloway dancing, his feet there. But I did something else with it. This was a piece of Dorothy Dandridge's dress. And it's the cutest little girl eating some ice cream. Oh my God, but she don't have no arm. Oh my God. But she's not getting a proportionate arm. And she's holding like this little flower on top of that. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, but she's not with it by herself. You can have a little girl like that out by herself, eating ice cream, and all that stuff. She's not gonna be out by herself. Who's with her? There's somebody with her, for sure, for sure, for sure. This was a piece of Bessie Smith's. It's like this, what's the name she had on? Around the tip of my tongue. Like a fur she had on or something like that. And this was just, I don't know, a piece of a mat that I saw. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna use this for the other side of this dress over here.
You know, Kenneth, wouldn't you say that a lot of artists just collect images and things that strike them along the way? I know I keep a big folder of lots of, if I get some great, even junk mail, or like if I'm struck by a picture in the New York Times Magazine or anything like that. I mean, you just grab it and you throw it in the folder and hang on to it, and to do exactly like what you're doing is like
two of the pieces that I created for the Harlem Renaissance. I mean, two of the things I did signs, the Apollo, the Lafayette, the Renaissance, the Savoy. And I had this old metal, just big sheet of metal like thing I found 2 years ago. I used it for that. They look incredible. I can't wait to show those because they look amazing. I'm telling you, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but this is going to be museum quality exhibition. I have people, well, let me not tell everything. Yeah, I better not tell everything. But she needs an arm. I know it ain't proportionate, but it's an arm. But look how she's coming along. Doesn't she look amazing? She looks freaking amazing. I do got to give her a couple little shoes, I guess I'll put on here. She look a little bow-legged the way I got her feet on here. Huh? Well, she's bow-legged or not. Come on, I got the other side to want to stick to my hand. Better glue. It's a little thing want to stick to my hand. Good, we doing it just like that. Uh-oh, but she's not there just with her sister and that sister. She's got another sister. Here she is. Off over here. This piece that I'm putting on right here, it was just a building, and I cut it on an angle. This is an actual building. And so I cut it because I felt like, you know what? This will be a good part to that side of her dress. And then I got another piece of that fur from Bessie Smith. To do the other side of the dress. Boom. And then there she goes. The sister's having some ice cream, but she needs an arm. And I don't know what I did with her arm because she does have an arm. Okay, I'm gonna have to create on the fly an arm. So let's see, because I can't find her arm that I had in here. She got an arm now. And this just to add a little another element to it. Just gave her this as an arm. Okay, we need to give her, she's gonna have on some little like, I'm gonna do these right here. It's weird doing this little chalk thing.
Kenneth, does that chalk dry instantly?
No, it take a little bit for it to dry.
If anyone's wondering, you should not send Kenneth any duck eggs. That's what he had for breakfast, and he proclaimed that his statement of the day down there in the lower left corner.
I don't like duck eggs. I'm never eating them again. Actually, I didn't even eat those. Yes. Isn't this wonderful? Look how this is coming out. So what does everybody think? Let me move this over here. Wow, my little Harlem Renaissance scene. So now, I don't know, I'm gonna embellish a little bit.
And it almost feels like, Kenneth, like this could be also a background. Like if you could build on top of this too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to embellish a little bit because I'm going to put something on there that's just going to stand out. Hold up.
So, Kenneth, I'm going to take the opportunity to answer where you got your duck eggs because we spoke about it. Kenneth, right next door to him, has a company that raises ducks and turkeys and other fowl, and that's where he got his duck eggs and tried them for the first time. I know they're an acquired taste. They're pretty rich. I've only tried them once in my life as well. And someone is saying also in the chat that it looks like there are 4 scenes here. I completely agree. We've got like a quarterized composition going. There's also a question about the.
I'm sorry, I had to run in there. I found 2 things that I'm going to add to this.
So Kenneth, we have a comment about the chalk that you're using because it won't smear like a pastel, correct? When it dries and sets up.
No, not really. It's pretty dry. I know initially when I touch it, because I don't use it often, but it does initially. It eventually, but I still put like the a varnish over top of these when I'm done. But if you like, I went over it. See how I went with it? I smeared it right there with the leg I put there because it wasn't dry yet. So it takes probably a couple minutes for it to dry. That's all though. Oh man, I couldn't wait. I love this piece I'm putting on here. And then there's one more thing I'm putting on. Shoot. And
Kenneth, we have a comment asking if you think you'll sign and date this when you're done.
Absolutely. I document every painting I do. This is going to get documented. This is going to become a part of my Harlem Renaissance series. There's now 147 pieces in it. You guys messing around with you guys, there'll end up being 200 pieces in here. Then right here, I'm just going to lay Josephine Baker's head. And guess what? If I take this and put this in a nice little frame, Look at this. Wow. A nice black frame like that. I purposely made it this size, so I'm gonna put it in this black frame when it's done. So what do you guys think?
I think we are getting a lot of comments that say, nice work, awesome, thank you so much, so creative, good luck with your career and your exhibition, lovely, very inspiring, they love it.
That's really nice. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
Everything from very cool to very enthusiastic, fun to watch. Thank you so much.
Awesome. You guys, I'm telling you, and I'm overjoyed because to make people feel like that and enjoy what you're doing, that means a lot to me. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Do you feel like you're finished with it, Kenneth?
Well, you know, I'm an artist. It can like go anywhere else. But I'm gonna start working with it. I'm gonna put 9 more of these. When I finish these that I have in here, I'm gonna put 9 more of these panels around to finish after I finish the ones I have on the wall. And I'm gonna make 10 of these. I'm gonna make 10 of them. And it's just gonna become a part of my series. And I'm gonna frame them all with the same frame. Yep. I enjoy doing this, and it's been a long time since since the last time we had the event at the Arts Council, and I actually wasn't working on one. I was just helping everybody do it. But to sit here, for me to like do this right now, it has my spirit filled to wanting to like do even more now. So, and I know it's there, so I know it's going to happen. I already have the feeling it's going to happen.
So we have a question on where you get your frames. Do you pick them out or do they happen along?
Shop. I used to own a frame shop. I've been picture framing for 25 years.
Wow.
I used to I had a bookstore called Mind Builders. It was in Trenton. I had it from 1990 to 1999. And it was an African-American bookstore. I sold African-American dolls, games. I even sold a game called Afronopoly. It's like Monopoly. And if you don't believe me, 30 seconds, I'll be right back. See, it's called Afronopoly. It's like Monopoly, but you play it differently. It's like you, so I used to sell stuff like this in my store. This is the game board. It's round. And you get to learn, whoops, you get to learn all about the continent of Africa and stuff like that, the resources, everything. It's a cool game. But anyway, I used to sell stuff like that, dolls, games, everything. And then I did picture framing as well. But I didn't start doing my artwork until 13 years ago.
We have another comment, Kenneth, that asked about that the collage has a fairly formal structure. And do you think that this is the way you work, or do you think it's partly because of you having to talk to all of us while you're making it?
It's a difference if I'm just doing something and like this, it appears to be done, but I know it's really not done here because there's going to be so much I'm going to add to this. And, but this is, but I am going to keep the aspects of the migration, the nightlight, the children. So that's intentional to stay within that in each one of these sections.
Okay.
But some of the others I'll do, they'll be colorful. There'll be different themes. There'll be different backgrounds, all types of things. So, and some I may just use construction paper as opposed to, images.
One viewer commented that they like how it reads like a book. That it's very left to right.
Yup. Intentional. Yup.
Another viewer wants to know if they can get that game that you just.
Listen, I've been trying to find it, and the only thing I can say is Google Afronopoly, because I done had so many people try to buy that one for me, and I was like, nah, I'm keeping that. I kept one for myself. Yeah, but they may still make it. The company was called Alexander Enterprises. That's the company, Alexander Enterprises.
Well, are there any more questions from everybody? I think we are going to start wrapping this up. And as you can tell, this is all an ongoing journey, don't you think, Kenneth? I mean, you could start every day. You can start a new project and see where it will take you.
Yes. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Look how I'm doing this. If they want to, I'll show you a couple of more paintings.
Okay.
You guys want to see a couple more paintings?
I'd love to see that.
Okay. I'll take this thing down. It's one of my paintings. Can you see it?
Yeah, that looks great, Kenneth.
This is called Indigenous. I painted this with a palette knife. Yeah, and I use like a heavy acrylic paint. So I'll show you that one. Let me show you a couple others. I like doing all kind of goofy stuff. This is Cutie Pie. I'll show you another one. Hold up. There's one of, there's another one. And this is more in the abstract. It's called a Ballerina. It's an abstract. I'll show you one I'm working over here on John Coltrane. I took a picture of John Coltrane and then a picture of a train, and I'm meshing them together. This is halfway done. This one isn't finished. See, I have the train coming out of his chest. And I'm gonna have his hand coming up playing the saxophone. So the front of the train is gonna be like a sax.
So Kenneth, we've had a comment about how versatile you are, and I definitely can speak to that. You are you can switch back from media to media.
Look, I have a series of these. They're all different, but they're all constructed like kind of the same way. Here's some pictures, some small prints of some of my images. I use all different types of materials. These are all paintings I've done.
We've had a question about what kind of varnish you're going to use for the collage.
I haven't varnished one of these yet. I'm gonna read it, but I'll probably use like either like a satiny like finish to it, and I'll probably use the same one I got here. Let me see the brand again, because I just sprayed some. The Windsor Newton varnish, like satin, or I don't know. I may just go with a matte finish with it though. I'm not sure. I kind of like the matte finish better with this. But yeah, the other piece. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say one final question before we sign off, Kenneth, is we had a viewer ask if you had an art background before you started painting at 47.
No, I was an athlete in high school and college. I played basketball, football, ran track. I was all rugged boy. Just all of that. I didn't even think about art. I don't even know what my art teacher looked like in high school to this day. I can't remember. I was a sports guy. And,
would you consider yourself a self-taught artist?
I remember I had the bookstore and the frame shop.
Yeah.
So that was in 1990 that I had the bookstore, and I started picture framing in 1991. So I've been framing pictures since 1991. And so I would see art all the time, and I loved going to museums. But at that time, I had this thing in me, like, you know, artists were like soft and stuff like that. It was stupid when I was growing up. That's why I never really wanted to do it, but I liked art. So anyway, as I got older and more mature, and I decided that, you know, just to, I liked being around it. So I used to sell prints of other artists. I used to frame them. And my bookstore was called Mind Builders Bookstore and Frame Shop. And for almost 10 years, I did that. And then I went back into property management because I had a background in that. So I went back in that. I worked for an apartment investment management company. So I went back for almost 6 years and worked there. And then I got divorced at the age of 40. I was with my ex-wife from 20 to 46. At the age of 47, a year after my divorce, I started painting. It was New Year's Day, 2008.
Wow.
When the ball dropped, I painted my first painting. I know exactly when I did my first painting. It's called Contemplation, and I'll never sell it. So every New Year's, I have a celebration of me becoming an artist from 2008 every year.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up, and I wanted to thank everybody for coming today. And I also want to say that you can support Kenneth and his, all of his ventures, his gallery especially. Visit his website and go to the show in May.
Can I say one more thing? I would be remiss if I didn't say this. My mother could draw and paint. My mother is deceased. And this is a critical part of everything with me being an artist, that I believe that's on a level that I can't explain why I'm doing this. But I come from a big family. My father was the pastor of Antioch Christian Church in New Brunswick. And I grew up in Bound Brook, and there were 7 kids. I'm in the middle, 2 girls and a boy older than me, 2 girls and a boy younger. My mother, my father, and my 2 oldest sisters and my brother, they're all deceased. I'm the oldest left out of me, and then my 2 younger sisters and my brother. But anyway, we used to always sit down together at the table and have dinner. My father, we would always talk about stuff. It was like they were like old school, like chores. You got your behind beat. I mean, all of that stuff, we had it, and there was rules and regulations we had to follow. So I grew up in a strict environment. My father met my mother at Fort Dix. He was from Georgia. He was in the Army, and he met my mother at Fort Dix. My mother was from Trenton, and my father never made it on the midnight train back to Georgia. He stayed home. He married my mom. She was a cutie. He married my mom, and 7 kids later, pastor of the church. But he was strict, and because of the military, and he was a pastor, so he was like, Reverend Sir. But anyway, but they instilled a lot of like hard work and determination in like each one of us. So I'm so grateful. But my mother could draw, but she was a stay-at-home mom. My mother never drove a car, did anything. She was a stay-at-home mom. She took care of us. Our children was her family. That was everything to my mother, us as a family. And she could draw. And I think that this is my mother coming out of me. I think that part of why I'm doing this artwork at this late stage, it's a career that my mother definitely could have had, because she had real skills. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful I had good parents. That's so
cool.
important to everybody that's listening to me. I'm grateful I had good parents. I'm getting a little teared up, but I really am grateful. It means a lot. It really does.
All right. Well, we'll all come. We're gonna all come.
My parents against this way.
We're all gonna come see the show in May. All right.
Absolutely. I'm sorry if I was a little long-winded on that, but
that's all right. We understand.
Shout out to my mother for that. I needed to.
We thank you so much, and we thank you for your talent and your time today. And we look forward to seeing you in May.
Okay. All right. Take care. Thank you, Kenneth. Everyone, be safe.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
All right.